Welcome to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Carmichael Arena, a top 25 meeting as the 13th ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers take on the 18th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. Welcome here into Carmichael Arena. Nick Kloss here with you alongside Sydney Sneed. We got a great matchup, and I can't believe it. It is already March. We are getting towards the postseason, so now, Sydney, every meet counts.
Postseason is right around the corner, so both of these teams are really looking to maximize their scores tonight. That's going to come from those small details like the landings, the execution, and hitting their routines.
Late in the season, you have to find that consistency. The Tar Heels and the Golden Gophers will try to do that here tonight. Some names to watch. The first one, the Tar Heels, Gwen Fink.
Gwen Fink, such a standout athlete for this lineup. She is a veteran, but brings so much consistency. She really sets the tone with all of her gymnastics and has the potential to put up high scores. 39-3 in the all-around versus Cal, so looking to do big things again tonight as well.
And on the other side of that, you're gonna have Ariana Ostrom, young gymnast who's been very impressive.
She's been a huge standout for this team and brings so much energy to each routine. You can just see it through her gymnastics. She's only a freshman, but does such a great job building that momentum in each lineup. And she's another one we're going to see some big gymnastics from again tonight.
And you got the big stars to watch, Jordan Lyden and Sydney Seabrooks. They've been just fantastic this year.
Look at their scores, 995 on beam for Jordan Lyden Sunday at the last meet, and then Sydney Seabrooks with a 994 NQS average on floor. That is just incredible statistics for them.
The Tar Heels starting things off with vault. Getting a look at the lineup here in rotation one. Minnesota will be on the Bards, but starting with Paige Prejean.
This is one of UNC's best events. So really looking to maximize scoring potential here. She starts with a Yurchenko full. A solid start for them. She was well within the white lines. Nice body position, had that small hop. So that's gonna be the biggest deduction that we saw on that vault.
In her senior year out of Houston, Texas, and moves us on to the first set of uneven bards for Gianna Gertis. Minnesota, such a great season, coming off probably their best meet against Cal.
She's such a great leadoff on bars. You can notice she has such attention to detail as she moves throughout this routine. We saw that Maloney down to the bail. Full twisting dismount, and she gets the stick. That's what they want to see, your leadoff. Strong hit routine, but then also those are those sticks that we just talked about. Minimizing deduction wherever you can. Right there, she's able to drop it right in. Her chest was pulled back. Nice job.
Redshirt senior from Delaware, Ohio, starting things off well, and then brings in Nev King from the Woodlands, Texas.
We're gonna see another Yurchenko full here that does start from that 995. So you're starting half a tenth lower. It's important to really execute all the way through. Nice job, you see her absorb and hold the landing. She had a lot of power, so she was leaned backwards as her feet hit the mat. But take a look from this angle, her approach onto the table. She gets a nice block. She almost could have flared out her arms even earlier to try and get that stick, but another nice vault to build off of for Carolina.
Prejean, about 9.775. Taryn Crump will follow things up. Jenny Hansen in the Minnesota squad, 5-2 against top 25 teams this year. Now that win-loss, not always the most important thing, but right now, they're putting up big scores. It was a 1.977 against Cal.
That's a huge score for them. So if I'm Minnesota, I'm really focused on how can we bring that to this away meet, and how can we get that same score or get pretty close to it. They absolutely have the potential. Taryn, another athlete that has so much power. She's very bouncy on bars. She makes everything look so easy. You can see, even through her cast handstands, the judges want to see those right on top of the bar, just like that. Gearing up for her dismount. Really big double layout into another stick. We always call out how sticks are contagious. First two up, first two stuck. You can see her extension through that double layout. That's going to be another good score for Minnesota.
Like you said, contagious, and you see the reactions from the teammates, the momentum that brings. Here's next.
Gwyn Fink doing a 1.5. That's that 10-0 start value that we like to call out. A difficult blind landing, but she did a nice job controlling it right at the end here. She sets it up nice twist, is able to break out of it. And notice how she was gripping her toes into the ground to try and minimize those deductions on the landing.
And that brings up someone we already mentioned once, top of the broadcast with Ariana Ostrom, a freshman from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And she has really burst onto the scene, and tough to do what she's doing at her age.
Absolutely. Coming into college is hard enough as it is, but adding an entire sport on top of that makes it that much more difficult. I've loved getting to watch her gymnastics, though. You'll notice her form, the execution she has, which we talked about a bit earlier as well. But on bars, the judges want to see the handstands on top of the bar, big release moves. That execution is that form, the straight legs, pointed toes, and then the stuck landings.
She's done all around, all but once this year.
She starts with a piked Jaeger release move. Notice how her feet stay together the entire bar routine. So far, so good on this routine. Can she get a stick right here? Almost had it, small step backwards, but the highlight for me was that double layout. She had so much rise in her hips on both of the flips. And then take a look at her body position. She is stick straight with the way that her legs and feet are together.
And this is a big one from freshman to freshman, 2 stars, to Sydney Seabrooks.
We're gonna see a huge Yurchenko full right here. Ends with a stick. That's exactly what they wanted to see. We'll take a look right here. When she approaches the table, her arms are really bent. It almost looked like she might have slipped a little bit. So very impressive that she was able to do that entire vault and in with a stick. Again, only a freshman, but really competing like a vet on that one.
Well, that's why she was a star to watch in this one. Now, the Clearwater, Florida has done such a good job in so many different ways. Her floor routine has been so good this year. You mentioned probably, you said it actually with Minnesota, sticks being contagious, where you get one there with UNC.
Sticks can be contagious on all 4 events.
And Emma Slevin, coming from Galway, Ireland. And a 9.85 on March 1st, her last time competing, and the last time out for Minnesota as well. She only competed on bars.
Really cool that she's from Ireland. She's actually still competing internationally. This bar routine, she has such gorgeous lines throughout. Nice save on that cast handstand there. see that unique Van Leeuwen up to the high bar. Another big double layout. Slight step backwards, but that's going to be a good score for them. When she hits, she really has that potential for that 9-9 plus range. But she does that handstand right there. You can see her shoulders get ahead of the bar, but she's able to use that strength to pull it back in. So nice job.
Jojo Valahovic.
One of my favorite vaults to watch. She's got a huge 1.5. Take a look. So much power and height off the table. She almost sticks it, or does stick it every single time, which is really difficult considering that blind landing we mentioned. Look at the block. Her elbows are almost straight off of the table, and then she breaks out. She's so consistent with that. That's going to be a big score for them.
She's just a sophomore and has recorded a 9-9 multiple times this year, starting with the opener against Stanford. A solid start for the Tar Heels, and all 9-8 and up so far for Minnesota. Still waiting on that Emma Slevin score, but Lacey Saltzman coming up.
Each lineup on each rotation is looking to build from beginning to end through each routine. Starts off with a nice handstand on top of the bar. Straddle Jaeger, release move. I like her rhythm. She's not too rushed on this routine. You can tell she's taking her time. That can be really scary. It looked like her feet might have hit the bar and got caught up on that dismount.
Okay, to see she's okay. We'll get just a single look at it.
She just pulled in too much on that release when she let go of the bar, which stopped that rotation and caused her to kind of stay in place in the air.
Kaya Forbes coming up. Thankful that wasn't worse.
Another big Yurchenko fall. Love to see her stick that. Week after week, she always has that huge amplitude. Her approach right here, she just has so much power, drops it in. She's able to break out from that extension. So again, that vault does start from a 9.95, but when you stick and have good execution throughout, it really gives the judges, doesn't give the judges a lot to take off.
Is there more pressure there when you don't have that 10 to start with?
It can be, because you know you're already starting from a bit of a disadvantage, but a lot of vaults in NCAA start from that 9.95, so that's why you really have to hone in on those small details, and that comes from the landings for the most part.
And like you mentioned, trying to build throughout your lineup, and you're building to the anchor, Jordan Leiden. To follow things up, Lacey Saltzman obviously was finishing things up. We're still waiting on that score.
Yeah, hopefully she is okay. That can be very scary. And just a fluky thing that happens in gymnastics. This is a great opportunity for Jordan Leiden to reset, refocus, not go too hard, not go too conservative, but just to do her normal bar routine in a situation is a bit of a pressure one, considering she's coming after a fall.
So she'll follow that up. Can that be mentally tough, even being the person following?
Absolutely, it's very mentally tough, because you know that you have to make this routine to be able to get that good team score, but these athletes are so mentally tough, and they practice for this in the preseason and during season. If anyone can handle it, it's Jordan. She is so undeniable in general, but on this event specifically. So I have no doubt that she'll be able to come out with a good score.
She's been so good as of late. You look back, it's on bars, but just all around. 9.925 on bars against Washington in a Big Ten meet. And then 9.875, but the beam, she's been so impressive. 9.950. So she'll try to keep her successes that she's had on all three, bars, beam, and floor. Now it's time for uneven bars for Jordan Lyden from Minnesota, Stillwater, to be exact.
She's gonna open with another Maloney down to Bale. See right here. Nice job in extension throughout her body positions. A little short on that Kess handstand, but just looking for a hit, has a double layout. Wow. Way to end that rotation from Minnesota. That's one of my favorite dismounts to watch. She has so much rise in her hits. Look how she gets even higher on the second flip. Very difficult to do, but that allows her to drop it into that stick where she can absorb that landing. That's gonna be a big score for them.
She sticks it beautifully, brings up Anna Pearl Stanley as that 7th number. Freshman from Missouri.
Shezayurchenko full. A little bit of pike down on the landing. That's probably gonna be where the judges deduct it the most. But again, she was an exhibition routine, so her score doesn't count towards the lineup. The exhibitions are a great opportunity for athletes to go in and out of the lineup, kind of play around with where you want everyone.
And you see that score for Kaya Forbes popping in 9.925. As Sydney mentioned, another exhibition coming up with Ava Stewart.
To call out that 9.925 by Kaya Forbes, very impressive, knowing that her vault starts from a 9.95. So she only had 0.025 off on that, just to put it in perspective for you, but very well deserved.
It's like you said, just when you have that 9.95, small margin for error, but when you can nail it.
She succeeded there. So far, so good on this bar routine. Unique doing those cast handstands from a straight body instead of doing the straddle up ones. Entered that dismount. Look at the distance she got from the bars to the landing. Very unique. She goes into that front pike half twist, not something that we see often on uneven bars.
You do not see that much. We are through one rotation. Great matchup here in Chapel Hill. Stick with us. Chapel Hill. And while we wait, Sydney Seabrooks hopped on the Carolina Insider Pod talking her landings.
What's the difference in a stuck landing and a not stuck landing in terms of what you do to get there? Like, everybody wants to stick the landing.
Yeah.
Even gymnastics idiots know that, like me. But so how come it doesn't happen all the time? What happens?
So coming out, I'll use an example of a bar dismount. And so when you're flipping through the air, depending on that timing of your release, maybe your form in the air, you could come up a little short or a little too far back. Maybe you pulled a little bit too hard on a double tuck, or maybe you opened up too early. And so when you open up too early, your chest is going to be more towards the ground, and that is going to cause your body's your equilibrium is off. You're going to be forced to take that step, take that hop. Or if you pulled it around too much, your chest is back, your equilibrium is off. You're going to be forced to take that step. There's some key times where you can be like, oh, I'm a little far back, but I'll correct right when I land. And so those like steps, hops, that is the deduction for the landing, and that can really set you to be off. A stuck landing is really a perfect landing most of the time. So it's literally being perfectly balanced throughout the whole skill. Maybe making some corrections during the skill that allows you to stick it, but it is like, that is the cherry on top of the routine, and really like sets a tone.
How long do you hold that stick before you start celebrating? Because I feel like there's some like dramatic like pauses with the stuck landing.
I know. Back then in college gymnastics, there was these issues where people would stick the landing, they'd immediately press and like walk out of it,
right.
And it could maybe cover up like they weren't actually controlled in the landing. And so, and I don't know if it was a year ago or maybe this year, they made an official rule that when you hold your landing and you hold your press, you have to hold it for 2 seconds. And the judges will count that, and they can take off about a 0.05 deduction if you don't. Now, at practice, it's 3 seconds for us.
Oh.
So it is dramatically long. They do not want us to step. They do not want you to move. Like, you need to hold that landing. So, yeah, that has been a thing for us. So.
We have plenty more action here on the Hill. Carmichael Arena for some ACC gymnastics. North Carolina and Minnesota. Plenty more on the other side. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Carmichael Arena, Minnesota Golden Gophers, and the North Carolina Tar Heels in a great battle as we move on towards the postseason. Sydney, we're through one rotation. What are your thoughts?
I thought both teams did a great job of building momentum. They have a great starting place. They have an opportunity to keep getting better each rotation. We saw Minnesota struggle a bit in their lineup, but then bounce back and end with a really strong routine, that 9-9. So looking to build is the biggest thing that they're going to want to see.
Got to try and keep getting better throughout this meet. That's what they'll try to do here. Starting off well on both sides. Like you said, Minnesota, a little hiccup there on the uneven bars, but still very much in it as we look at those lineups now. Minnesota on the vault, and UNC will switch over.
I was really impressed with how Minnesota was able to bounce back after that hiccup that can be scary, can shake you up, but they did not let it affect them. So they have a great opportunity, especially being at an away meet, to reset on these next couple of events.
So you'll have Ava Stewart starting things off on vault. From Ontario, all Big Ten second team in 2025. Also getting that freshman team honors in her first year. And one of a couple international gymnasts, competed for Team Canada as well. So a lot of international experience in general throughout. We got some extreme talent here between these two. That's why we got 2 top 20 programs.
Both of these teams have really big potentials to get good scores on these events. Minnesota on vault, they have a couple of 10-0 start value vaults that we'll see. So again, maximizing from that extra advantage, having that half of a tenth. And then UNC on bars, I really like their lines and their landings that we'll also see in each routine, giving them the opportunity to come out with some high scores as well.
And Ava Stewart will lead things off. She's had a 9-8 in every single vault she's done this year, except for 2. Penn State, and then recently at the Big Four, 9.375 and then 9.475. So dipping down there after just pure consistency to start the year. It was 5 straight 9.8s before that Penn State meet on February 14th.
We've seen her do that Yurchenko 1.5. She's a very solid vaulter, has great body position. We'll see that coming up. Minnesota really is looking at those small details. Where can they gain that half a tenth and that full tenth? Vault is tricky because it's such a quick event and you just do pretty much one big skill and you're done. And on the other events, you have more room to do things, add things, minimize deductions. So vault is unique in that way.
Sydney, do you have any idea what they were waiting for there, or?
Sometimes the judges just have to wait a sec to get everything sorted out, and especially rotating from one event to the other. But nobody's gone, so there wasn't a judges conference. We might see that later on, which we'll call out. We see her do a Yurchenko fall. So again, she sometimes will do that 1.5. She has the capability to, but playing it a little safer here in this lead-off position with the fall. Nicely done.
So it's Claire Stipich will start things off on the uneven bars. Another Wisconsin native, and in her second year with the Tar Heels, 2 years in the SEC in her domain at Kentucky.
She does a great job setting the tone for this lineup. One highlight is the height she gets on her release move coming up right here. She does that straddle Jaeger down to the bail, difficult to go from one skill to the next. So that height playing a huge role in that. Double layout dismount. Had to take that step forward, so that's gonna be a deduction. You could see her chest was down right on the landing. But a highlight, like I mentioned, that release, look how she catches with her elbows almost fully extended on the other side of the bar. I love that. And then that double layout, just a little bit more rotation needed to come out with that stick.
Leads things off. Sarah Mora.
Powerful athlete, like we mentioned earlier. She does the Yurchenko 1.5. Her approach had a lot of power heading into it. It just looked like she missed some of that height and rotation at the very end. This vault, nice job on the approach. She breaks out just a little bit early, and again, timing is everything on every single event, but especially with these blind landings that we see on vault.
And so that was actually Taryn Crump. They made a late change to that lineup. Now Sydney Seabrooks comes up for the Tar Heels. She'll go second for the uneven bars.
She's been so much fun to watch this year. She's such an energy driver for this team. You can tell through her gymnastics how she performs. We're gonna see her do that Maloney down to Pax Salto combination that we've seen a lot across the NCAA and tonight as well. Nice cast handstand to start the routine. I always like when you start with an exclamation mark. That's the first thing the judges see, and that's always going to be your cast handstand. And then being able to end with one is a stick on your dismount. Gearing up, double layout. It looked like she stuck it. She moved her feet a little bit. Sometimes we say that's a hop in place. So we'll see what the judges take from their angle, but she just whips the double layout around so easy. I think there was a little bit of a shift if we're being picky, but a great routine from Sydney Seabrooks.
The freshman continues to impress as Sophie Wynn from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Used scarcely throughout this season for the Golden Gophers. Just her third time this year in the lineup on vault.
Yurchenko 1.5. You could see she was crooked on that landing, had to step over that white line. It's not an extra deduction for stepping over the white line, but it's a good guideline for the judges to see where you're at on the landing. So they may take, depending on how far you are, but a nice ball. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more block off the table in order to get that twist around quicker.
So Sophia Wynn gets in, and they gave Taryn Crump a 9.775 to keep you updated. Stippich, the 9.75. Stippich starting with the same Seabrooks 9.825. And now Anna Pearl Stanley, we saw her in the exhibition slot in vault, now third in uneven bars.
Bar swinger. Just looking at her lines and her toe point. This has been a really clean routine so far. Beautiful double layout dismount. Almost had that landing, but you can see from our angle how her legs and her feet did not come apart. That's really hard to do when you're flipping in the air. It's not typically the first thing that you have on your mind, but notice how they are glued the entire time. Another nice routine for UNC.
Sydney Seabrooks not the only impressive freshman. Start there for Anna Pearl Stanley. First one that counts for her tonight. And Gianna Gertis.
Yurchenko 1.5. Really nice block off the table. The landing looked like she didn't know where she was at a little bit. Sometimes can be scary with your knees, but really impressive she was able to land it normal still. You see her knees buckled because she was a little surprised. She typically does a nice job being able to control that, so that might have been a one-off vault for her, but again, that's that 1.5 starting from the 10-0.
Neck and neck right now with the Tar Heels back up. Paige Prégine on the uneven bars, and two 9.825s have come before her for Seabrooks and Stanley.
We talk about it all the time, but in gymnastics, every 10th counts. Comes down to toe point, a landing, a step.
It is amazing. It is the slightest thing that can make the biggest difference.
We just saw her do a Takachev release move. A huge height over the bars. She ends with a double front. I loved how she was spotting the landing, just a small hop, but really shines on this event. You can see going into the dismount here, she gets the height, releases at the right time, and a unique one going forwards instead of backwards like most that we see.
She made her college debut in the bars lineup this season as a senior. Now, late in the year, postseason on the horizon, still doing good work. Ariana Ostrom, the outstanding freshman.
Beautiful, Yurchenko 1.5. That is what the judges want to see. Nice execution and form the entire time on her twist. But one thing that stands out to me right here on the approach, her elbows just have a slight bend in them before she pushes off into the vault. You can tell she knows where she's at on that controlled landing. That's going to be a high score for Minnesota.
Ostrom just keeps on keeping on with how good she's been this year. Part of this outstanding stretch right now for the Golden Gophers, who against Cal put up the 7th highest team score in program history. If you put up as a team a 198, that's pretty crazy. So that 1977 is extremely impressive for the Golden Gophers, as now we got Gwen Fink on the bars.
This is another routine that has the potential for such a high score. But beyond that, she just put such a rock for this Carolina team. Beautiful double layout. She has one of the best double layouts on the technique. You see her get that rise in her hips on the second one. I know we had seen that earlier, but notice how she gets higher. She's able to break out and spot the landing because of how much her chest is up and how much rotation she has. Very impressive.
Ava Stewart, the anchor.
So another Chenko 1.5. She holds the landing a little bit squatty and crooked on that, but you have to give her props for being able to hang on to the landing. I'd love to see a little bit more block off the table before she starts that twist. That would give her more height, but she does a nice job getting distance from the table to where her feet land. So again, trying to minimize those deductions, holding on to the stick. We'll see what the judges take on that landing.
Does that slight unevenness or off balance, that curve, how much can that take off?
Well, the judges could take up to a 1/10 or so on that, depending on how much it was. She did almost lift her foot, so you add that on as well. But it's interesting, the judges are at a different angle sometimes than what we're seeing. So they might miss a couple things on events that maybe we do see. So that's always something to keep in mind as well when watching and deducting.
So Cameron Rueda follows up Gwen Fink. Number 6 right now, the 9.75 from Claire Stipich is the lowest for the Tar Heels.
UNC's doing a great job of building. You see those 9.825s now into the 9.85 range. Great opportunity for Cameron to get at least a 9.85, if not higher, which isn't something she's thinking about, but us as viewers definitely keeping in mind. Ending with a blindfold double tuck. I thought she had the stick, but just a slight step there. Right here on the blindfold, a little bit crooked heading into the release for the dismount. We can see it better from our angle. Again, we'll see what the judges take. But she was able to get through that routine. She has nice extension throughout, something that I really like about her bars.
So they gave Ava Stewart on that last vault for Minnesota in the 6th spot a 9.85. So that keeps Sophia Wynn as the lowest at 9.750. Her and Gianna Gertis even on that one. Still waiting on Rueda's score to come in.
keep in mind the grade out score is the one that they drop. So it'll automatically filter that as each routine and score comes in.
And after Rueda, the exhibition at the 7th on the uneven bars, Amy Wozniak.
Next on the bars, in exhibition for the Tar Heels, please welcome Amy Wozniak.
One thing that we talked about were those exhibition spots. Having that depth in the lineup is something that a lot of teams don't have. Being able to have 6 in the spot competing, but also 7, 8, 9 athletes that can perform and compete a routine on events is impressive. And so that helps push and kind of have that friendly competition in practice, but also gives some athletes the opportunity to maybe rest some weeks while others go in and compete. So there's different ways to look at it, but I know that's a great situation when you're able to have those spots.
Light step there as we will step aside through 2 here, and a tight one, Minnesota, North Carolina. And while we wait, Carolina Insider Pod got to sit down with Sydney Seabrooks, talking how it's not all wins and losses in gymnastics.
You guys have scored well every meet.
Yeah.
Stanford and Clemson both scored extraordinarily well.
Yes.
So as a team, how do you kind of walk away from those? Where the other team scored more than you guys,
Yeah.
but I feel like you guys performed well. What do you take away from those?
It's definitely our head coach is always telling us, like, when we come into a meet, we are looking to when we are having our heads held high, we want to win that meet, and it's against ACC rivals. So especially me, I'm like thinking, okay, like where are our scores at? And I really want to beat this team. But it's also important to remember, like for gymnastics, sometimes that win-loss record isn't too important, and keeping our consistency with our team score, our NQS, is still really, really strong. Like for example, even though Clemson just beat us, our road to nationals, our national ranking is still higher than Clemson. So that will set us up better for a greater off season or postseason, excuse me. But yeah, just coming out of that, I think a lot of us have really realized, like, a thing that we're missing, and some of those key like losses has just been that small detail work. We've really set ourselves up well, and like where we can go in and have a strong meet and score around the same, maybe a couple like mistakes, but where we can really well round ourselves is in that detail to kind of like raise our score a little bit, be a little bit more competitive with some of those Clemson, Stanford at those times. It's interesting because they really had like their best meets of their lives there. And so that's like great for them. We want to be competitive no matter what, on a good day, bad day, etc. So it'll be, a key thing for us to go in, work on those details, and just come out of that looking at it like stronger. Like, okay, maybe they might have beat us this day. Our national ranking is still stronger than theirs is. And what can we do next so that doesn't happen again? Like the next time we'll see them, we'll be at ACC championships in Greensboro, and what can we do we are going to be on top.
Now North Carolina and Minnesota will try and up those scores on the other side. ACC Gymnastics from Carmichael Arena. We'll be right back. Minnesota and North Carolina battling it out here at Carmichael Arena. Welcome back in. A great meet we have here. Sydney Steed, Nick Kloss with you. And we were just talking about in the break, we're about to see some beam here, which you were saying one of the most intimidating things, one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And then you blew my mind by telling me how actually wide that beam is.
So to give you some context, if you have an iPhone, the beam, this is wider than the balance beam. Balance beam is only 4 inches wide. So when they are flipping forwards, backwards, sideways, twisting on this, you can kind of put your phone down and look at it and try to hop in place on your phone. It's a lot more difficult than it seems. So balance beam 4 inches wide, and it's all the way up in the air too.
I think 4 feet up about that. So just crazy what they are able to do. And looking at it right there.
You have to stagger your feet because they won't even fit side by side. So we'll see that during the broadcast. We'll call it out throughout.
That is just amazing. About to see that there. We also have floor for Minnesota as we see the top 16, or the race for it. Minnesota, Clemson, California, and Penn State. And then on the outside looking in there, the Tar Heels.
You can see how close each team is, right on the cusp. I mean, 196.55 right there for Clemson, and then Cal, 196.539. Right below them, Penn State. I mean, that's when we say every 10 counts. We really mean it, and it's for, again, the top 16 that these teams want to be in heading into the postseason.
There is Sydney Seabrooks.
First up on the beam,
She has
please welcome Sydney.
been consistently excellent, as we saw at the top of this broadcast, with the NQS she's put up so far this season, and now one of the toughest of the day.
We just talked about the beam only being 4 inches wide, but being the lead off on balance beam is just a really special spot. It's so difficult because it can be such a pressure spot, but she makes it look so easy, and she is the perfect athlete for this role. She starts off with that back handspring, back layout series. She's so calm throughout the routine, even through her dance, you can tell. She feels so comfortable up there. Gorgeous front toss. The judges want to see that chest up on the landing. Ends with a back handspring, 1.5. Starts off with that stick to get this lineup going. Really nice routine from Sydney Seabrooks. The highlight for me being this front toss. She landed so upright because of all the power she had, and then that dismount sets it up so nicely, is able to spot the landing.
Love the reaction from the coaches. On beam, her high score, 9.875. She's done that twice this year as we get Megan Steensland, senior, on floor.
It's important for Minnesota to lean into their team for support. They are the away team. They do have a good crowd here, though, that we can see from inside the arena. But on an event like floor exercise, you want it to be loud around you, get your adrenaline going. Opening tumbling pass. Beautiful. Rudy into that back layout step out. She had so much height on that second skill, which can be difficult in a combination pass like that. Round off 2.5. Super difficult tumbling. She ends with that E pass. 2.5 has that blind landing, but look right here. She sets up the 1.5, and then the height she gets into that back layout step out. Gorgeous to watch. And then that 2.5. She landed a little bit behind her, if we're being picky. So we'll see what the judges take on that, but still a really strong leadoff routine.
Claire Stipich out of Wisconsin, 9.9 on beam, a career high this year. Did that back earlier on at the Metroplex.
Getting ready for her series. She does the back handspring, back layout, a triple series. See how she used the entire length of the beam for that combination. Nice switch leap into that straddle jump. Beam and floor is a mix of skills, but also leaps and jumps that the judges are looking at. You want to see the nice extension in your legs and your toe point on all the skills, especially your leaps. She ends with that gainer fall off the side. You see Sydney Seabrooks starting with a 9.9, then Claire coming right behind her, nailing a routine as well. Really impressive triple series. You can see from that angle she was straight in line with the beam, getting that dismount. they have the potential here to keep building for some high scores. We've seen them do it before. I'm excited to watch the rest of their lineup.
Sydney Seabrooks just set a high on the beam with that 9.9.
That's really difficult as well, a 9.9 from your leadoff. Typically, the first routine, I mean, yes, you have the potential for a high score, but sometimes the judges can be a little bit tougher to crack and get those higher scores.
Gianna Gertis.
First tumbling pass, she does a front tuck through to a double tuck. You're allowed to take that small lunge back with no deduction. For such an endurance event, you have to have breathing points throughout your routine. Getting ready for her last pass. She ends with a double pike. Too much power on that landing. She stepped out of bounds. So that's going to be a deduction. Take another look at these passes. I like the front tuck through to the double tuck. Look how she sets it up, gets nice height, is able to break out of it. And then the last pass really she just held onto her legs too long. She had it right there, had enough rotation for it, but just held on a little bit too long, causing her to take those extra steps.
Freshman from Columbus, Georgia, Hannah Aoki on beam.
Gorgeous back handspring layout series. Notice her fingers, how artistic and elegant she is in each skill. Beautiful toe point and extension throughout. She's a front aerial into the beat jump. Really smooth connection. She kept moving through the entire time. So far, so good on this routine. She just has the dismount. Round off 1.5. Almost held the stick, but that dismount landing was the biggest deduction I saw throughout that routine. So we're gonna see another good score from Carolina. You can see right here, I like the height. She gets right into the 1.5. She's spotting and just has her chest a bit forward on the landing, but still nicely done routine.
He had the Aoki shirt on and the headshot, or the fat head, or whatever they're called, and now he's got the Rueda shirt. That's fandom. That's commitment right there.
I mean, wow, I am really impressed. He has got them lined up, ready to go.
They're in order based on the lineup. I mean, look, you can see it. You can see the next name. You see it on the right side with the lineups prepared and ready to go.
I love it.
Tar Heel faithful, happy about it as we have a little meeting here.
A judges conference. We talked about it possibly happening earlier in the meet, but typically when we see the conference, it's when the judges have different start values or they're not agreeing on where the routine starts. They might be talking about the potential deductions for her going out of bounds. It could be a mix of things.
So they'll take a look. While we wait, just to talk about how well North Carolina has started on beam. We got a breakdown of the scores here for you if you're new to NCAA gymnastics, a little idea of when you see those numbers, what they really mean here, and what those mean is right now North Carolina is killing it on beam.
This scoring breakdown, you can see the acceptable, good, and excellent. Those are the ranges. But as postseason is near, you want to see those 985 plus scores on each routine. That's really what's important. That's what both coaches talked about when we talked to them earlier this week in our meetings. Where can we gain that extra half a tenth to a tenth? Because those add up to that total score. If the judges are conferencing about the out of bounds in NCAA, the out of bounds is 1/10 per foot. So it looks like she only had one out, and they'll deduct that after the final score.
So you saw we were a little behind on the Minnesota scores. We're waiting on floor here. We've already seen Steensland go with the 9.775 and Gianna Gertis going. Just saw a 9.650 shown. Now a 9.6 was just shown.
Sometimes when you have to wait as an athlete, it can be mentally challenging when you're ready to go and then there's a bit of a pause. So a great opportunity for Sophie to get things on track.
For every single meet this year, coming off a career best. 9.925 last week.
That last floor score, you see the 9.6. So yes, some of that deduction was the out of bounds and a couple of steps that she took from that last pass. That is a score that they're gonna wanna drop. She starts with a Rudy to straddle jump. Nice height in the air on the jump. Sometimes that can be hard to control. The judges are looking at that 180-degree split on the leaps and any jumps. That maybe was a mistake to do the front tuck. So we'll see what the judges take. You have to build up to get that 10-0 star value. She might have meant to do something else, but take a look right there. So in the air, you can see that full split. That's what the judges want, that 180-degree line. That's the minimum. You see some athletes that are really flexible even over that mark, but a nice shot getting the height and extension on that. Again, I'm not sure if she was supposed to do that front tuck out of the 1.5 to get those bonus points, but we'll see when the judges score.
Well, it was a couple minutes ago now, but the Rueda shirt is on, and the Kremlin Rueda beam routine begins.
She opens with back handspring layout, macro series. This entire Carolina lineup has just looked so calm and confident. In each athlete, it's really hard to teach. My favorite part of the routine, that front tuck. I always like to call it out because we don't see many in college gymnastics, but that is so difficult. And it's difficult on your feet. It hurts. I did it in college as well, and I had a couple bruises here and there by the end of my gymnastics career. Ends with a round off double full. Slight hop backwards, but gorgeous routine from start to finish. Look at this front tuck from this angle too. She lands so upright, was even slightly off and covered that wobble so well. And then the height and pop she got off of the beam into that double full. Unique skills in her routine. And she executed very nicely.
Leah Gonczarowski will be next on floor. We have another meeting. Saw this before the last floor routine, and now again.
That could be, like we mentioned earlier, that 1.5 into the front tuck. Most athletes either do a front layout where your full body is extended, or they might do a front full into that. But on floor, the tumbling passes and leaps that you do give you bonus to build up to that 10-0 start value from where the judges will start and deduct from. So if you mess up or don't connect something, or there's a little mishap, then you're not able to start from the 10-0, which is sometimes what the judges are talking about. So it did look like that might have been a mistake on her end.
So Minnesota awaits that decision, or awaits them to finish that up, as we look at the Big Ten and what's gone on around Big Ten gymnastics as of late, because Minnesota has really come into their own. We saw that search for the top 16. They're 13th right now, and trying to hold on to a spot right in there. And they're going up against a Tar Heel team that is right there looking on the outside. They're at 18th in the country right now, and they're putting on a great beam lineup right now. You see those scores, and right now the grayed out ones are the ones that are dropped, and it's a 9-8. So we'll look at that last pass now that the judges have split.
This could be what they were commenting about. You see right here, she does the 1.5 and then does the front tuck. Looked like she was gonna go into something else, but just kept the front tuck. So again, not quite sure. We'll see what the judges give her. Looks like they maybe started her at that 9-9, so she might have lost bonus from that. Again, a nice routine other than that, but now's a good chance for Minnesota to calm down, reset their lineup, try and build on these next few routines, get those high scores to kind of make up for the first half of their lineup. Not necessarily what they wanted, mistakes happen, it's gymnastics, but how can they reset and bounce back from maybe not the scores they were hoping for?
Leah Gonczarowski doing what she does best. Everyday starter on floor.
Huge, tucked full in. Wow. That's an E-level pass. But the height, the rotation, and the landing, she almost didn't even need to take the step. Really well done. Second pass, front tuck through to the double tuck. She was able to stay in bounds, a bit of a bigger lunge there, but I like that she's going for the big tumbling. She's doing the full in, the double backs. That takes a lot of power and endurance on an event like floor exercise. Switch side to straddle full into the straddle jump. Gorgeous combination. That is a way to get Minnesota back on track. She came in lights out on this first tumbling pass. Look at her set it up, do the full twist, pop her right out. She used that sting mat. That's not a deduction from the judges. You're allowed to use that as well.
Jessica Naranjo having to follow up a flurry of good scores.
She's an athlete that has such good rhythm during this entire routine. She does the front aerial back layout. She was able to connect that all the way through. Her arms kept moving the entire time. She's moving through really nicely. Just has a back handspring 1.5 right here. Small hop, but overall, such a nice routine. See that back handspring, sets up the 1.5, breaks out. She did have a lot of rotation that could have been an even bigger hop, but she was able to hold it to just a small one. A little celebration there, she's pumped about it.
How impressed are you right now with the consistency that we're seeing from North Carolina?
We talked about this with Coach Durrani earlier. They've been consistent week in and week out. That is the word that stands out when I think of Carolina gymnastics. On every single event, but every single meet as well. Consistency is key, and they've really shown and proven that that's what they're all about this year.
Mariana Ostrom on floor.
Opening pass, front tuck into a huge double back. She had so much height from being able to set up that nicely. Her gymnastics is so unique because she has such nice lines and extension, but also power as well. Typically, it's hard to have both of those. Rudy to the back, layout, step out. All smiles for her. Nice routine from Ariana. Both passes were so clean. Executed so nicely. Look at the height right here. You can see her head was setting up for that double touch. She pops out of that, and then right here, gorgeous form, gorgeous height. I never like to call out scores, but I've got to imagine that's going to be at least a 9-9 there for Minnesota.
The one there for Ostrom, really building these scores up for Minnesota. They need it.
JoJo starting off. Back handspring, back layout. Carolina looking for a big score here to end out this phenomenal beam rotation that they've had. Off 1.5. That is a way to end it. Hold on to the stick. That goes to that consistency part that we talked about. Look at the pop off of the beam. Huge smile from her. They're gonna have a great total beam score, but we saw the confidence throughout each athlete in each routine. But that's something that we asked Coach about. Where does the consistency come from? And she said it starts in the preseason. You can't just expect it once the first meet hits. We practice that way early on. We talk about it they've been doing. It's really fun to see them come out. We hear some cheers from the UNC team. It's gonna be a big score for JoJo.
Jordan Lyden anchoring floor.
Starting out the 1.5 to front full. Her gymnastics is so pretty to watch because of her form particularly. Just that gorgeous toe point and straight legs. That's something the judges really like to see. Sometimes it's better to do the routine that's not quite as hard if you have better form, because that will sometimes score higher. Ending with the 2.5, she had a nice block heading into that twist. It's gonna be another high score for them. So rounding it out with their last 3 athletes, gorgeous routines. Look at that 2.5. She breaks out, has the height and the rotation.
So Lyden will wait for her score. Ostrom with a 9.9 before her, and then JoJo Valahovic, 9.950.
Well deserved from her. And I think a lot of it speaks to Sydney Seabrook's coming out, leading that lineup. She did her job, and she did it extremely well, getting that 9.9. Again, as these athletes, you're not looking for exactly what score you want, but knowing that you have the potential to get that. I know my routine's good. I'm confident. When I hit, I know I can get that score, and that's exactly what she did, setting up the rest of her lineup to build. And they took that opportunity and ran with it. See Gwen Fink doing that triple series, very difficult. She's been in and out of the lineup this year. Ending that back handspring gainer, fall off the side. Nicely done there, a couple bobbles throughout, but she did a nice job saving and staying on. Beam is one of those events, if you're even slightly crooked or off half of an inch, it might throw off the entire skill. So impressive for these athletes to cover up those wobbles.
We talked about that coming into this rotation. It's 4 inches wide, so pretty difficult. Like you said, your feet probably got pretty bruised up. Got the toes got a grip on, like it's insane, truly.
You have to stagger your feet, so it's inevitable. They're gonna land on top of each other to be able to stay on, and that's where those bruises come from.
And in the 7 spot, Megan Steensland, exhibition.
Front layout to the 1.5 straddle jump. Any 2 or 3 combination pass on floor is hard because you're having to control each skill one after the other. a nice routine to end Minnesota's floor lineup.
Minnesota able to build throughout the floor, but JoJo Valahovic in North Carolina, she gets tied her season high. Got plenty more, or just one more actually, when we come back. Some great ACC gymnastics, North Carolina and Minnesota, but Sydney Seabrooks sitting down with Carolina Insider Pod, talking her floor routine.
What do you like about your floor routine this year? Why is it catching on with people so much?
We had an amazing choreographer come in over a little bit towards the end of fall, and she choreographed every person's routine, and she has made everyone look so unique in there. You know, how their style of floor is. I actually used my music from last year, but when she came in, she took a lot of like the traditional dance moves from that sort of era that my music is from. And what I love about my routine, it's very fun. I get to interact with the crowd a little bit because I'm doing some moves where I'm looking towards the crowd or I'm looking towards my team. And I just really love competing floor. And so I would say like something special about my routine would just be like, just the excitement that I get from just doing it. Like, I don't care the arena I'm in. I don't care who is watching, if there's 0 fans on the stage, if I'm in practice and just my coach is watching, or it's just my team. Like, I have fun with it no matter what. So I think it's pretty fun that people are recognizing it in that way. But truly for me, it's like the same no matter what, wherever I'm doing it.
What's the key to a good floor routine song? And if you're at a meet and you hear a good one, is it a gymnastics faux pas to steal it?
Well, I mean, you're not going to change songs in the middle of the year.
Well,
but
like,
you're saying for
like file it away for next
Yeah.
year.
future floor routine.
No, yeah, I'm always at meets and I'm like, that's a really good floor music. It just depends on your style because everybody's a little different with what they like. I like one that's really loud and catches attention really fast. Like I have like a big ow in the beginning of my routine, and that pretty much catches attention. But like I used to, when I was younger, I would always have salsa music. Like people would say, oh, you know how to dance well, let's just give you salsa music. So I had always had that before even this floor routine. So I think maybe like I developed with that and I like those a little bit more, but people do steal it. But the best thing about a floor music that is something that you've never heard. Because I used to go to club meets and you'd hear the same floor music over and over again. So that is not one, like maybe you like it, but you don't want to use that because everybody has it. So it's pretty unique if you can find a floor routine that no one has. Some people will make their own nowadays.
A beautiful night outside and a fun one here inside ACC Gymnastics. We got North Carolina and Minnesota. A little more on the other side. Hill and North Carolina right now up by just about 0.4 of a point after that third rotation. And it was a big one at that, with what JoJo Valahovic and this Tar Heel team was able to do on beam.
She was an absolute star on balance beam in this last rotation. The best one we've seen tonight, gorgeous lines, great execution, and then ends with a stick.
And get Ariana Ostrom. She really picked things up on floor for the Golden Gophers.
A great job at getting the team on track with her huge tumbling. And then right here, look at the height she gets. It's my favorite pass to watch. Ending with another high score for Minnesota.
The Golden Gophers are on to their best event. Their best part of this rotation, the beam leaders. You see Oklahoma there at the top of Minnesota. Top 10 at 9th in the country.
That's a great call out. We can see their average being that 49.279. But being able to end on your best event is a strength for them. We talk time and time again how balance beam is tough. It's even tougher to end on when you're the away team. But if any team can come out with a high score in a situation like this, it's Minnesota.
You're finishing on beam, which, like you said, can be some pressure on the road. You're also down. So a lot of things to think about when you're going into this final event. Like you said, it's the difficult one, but it's great for Minnesota being a top 10 event for them and one of the best in the country.
This is a time where they're really just staying in their bubble. They practice this in inner squads week after week. They're not paying attention to the outside noise. You can only control what you can control, and we've said that a lot throughout this entire year. But what's interesting is that you come from an event like floor where it's big tumbling, a ton of adrenaline. You have to be able to control all of that emotion that you're feeling, because beam is such a calm event. So how can you maybe take it down a couple notches and find yourself in your rhythm here?
Ariana Ostrom, here she is.
Beautiful acro series. She's done a great job in this leadoff role. It's really where you're looking for that consistency and that hit routine every single time you mount the beam. Saw her do that cat leap side aerial combination. Really nice routine so far, ending with that gainer full off the side, holds the stick. We've seen the arm circle a couple of times tonight. The judges can't deduct on that. We'll see what they do, but see here, she holds it. Sometimes it's maybe better to take that step back and take that half attempt to attempt, but still, really nice job. That was almost a no wobble routine all the way throughout.
Like you said, just the arm circles is Jessica Naranjo out of Florida.
She opens with a huge double pike. Wow. You saw her arms flare out as she was dropping into the landing. That's when you know that she's got great air awareness. Front layout to front fold to front tuck. Gorgeous. Notice the height she gets on her leaps and jumps too. Not just the power she has on the tumbling, I mean, UNC is here to win. They are on fire, bringing that momentum from balance beam into floor. Watch her break out. She literally lets go of her legs to drop it in to that lunge, and then she does the front layout, front full into the front tuck, gets higher on each skill. That's gonna be a really great start for Carolina.
Ava Stewart, all Big Ten second team in 2025.
She has that split jump in to that ring. You saw her back leg bend. She throws her head back. So you lose contact with balance beam. It can be difficult. That was a wolf turn. Another difficult skill on beam. Takes a lot of core strength to be able to spin around like that. We see some gymnasts do one turn and some go up and do two.
I tried to do it on the floor once, didn't go well.
Ends with another gainer fall off the side. Small step backwards, so a couple of wobbles throughout the routine, but it was still a hit, and that's what matters. See this jump right here, nice split jump, and then she goes to throw her head back. That could have been a bigger wobble. She was able to minimize it, but still the judges are gonna see the slight off balance there.
There's Stippick. Heartland, Wisconsin. He's had a good day so far. 3 out of the 4 events.
Opens with a double back. Beautifully done. This is what's really fun for them to be in front of their home crowd, ending on floor. That was always one of the most fun things about college gymnastics. Getting to perform at home. Setting up for a second tumbling run. 1.5 to the front layout. Fun choreography to end that floor routine. I loved her first pass. The double tuck, she sets it up so nice. Opens out, her chest is all the way up on that landing, and then the 1.5. Looks like her knees buckled a little bit from this angle, from the 1.5 to the front layout, but she covered it up so nicely, so I don't see the judges taking too much from that.
Sarah Mora has had 9.9 or higher on beam 4 times this year.
Beam is all about giving yourself cues, breathing throughout. Nice back handspring back layout. From this angle, you can see she was perfectly in line with the beam. Cat leap to side aerial. Really gorgeous straddle extension on that jump series. Finishes off Gainer full and a stick. That was a no wobble routine throughout. That's gonna be a good score for the Gophers. We'll see right here, she sets up that full nicely, spots the landing, and ends with the stick.
That looked as good as it gets. Like you said, no wobble, very clean. Hannah Aoki now on the floor.
We've seen her lead off this event before as well. And that just speaks to the trust and confidence they have in her. She'll start out with that front tuck through to double tuck. And sticks it. Again, doesn't even need the lunge. Last tumbling pass. She's a front layout to the front full. It's hard to tell the landing from our angle. She had a little bit of a bigger slight bend in her knees. Overall, another great routine. Look at the height, even on that front tuck. Through to the double tuck, sticks it in place. She takes the lunge just cause. Does the front layout, front full. See that slight knee bend, and she was a little crooked. So the judges will definitely deduct on that last pass. But really impressed with the big tumbling, but the controlled landings that they're showing on each tumbling pass.
Brooklyn Roway out of Des Moines, Iowa. First time we've seen her tonight. Amazing the talent they have on beam.
Opening the back handspring, back layout series. Really gorgeous lines on that lead combination. Front toss through to the wolf jump. Smooth connection. Dismount left. Looking for a stick here, and she gets it. Really unique. Off the side, blind landing. Look at the front toss. She keeps moving into the wolf jump. And then the dismount. She does the front full off the side and had no problems on that landing.
Made that one look easy. And Kaya Forbes back in the line.
This is an event where she can really show off her power. We saw it on vault, but we're gonna see it on this first tumbling pass. She's gonna do a full in. Every time I watch that, it gets higher and higher. Just insane how big her tumbling is. Front layout into the front full. And what I like about her is that she has so much power, but she does a good job of controlling it. A lot of power is a good thing, but On floor exercise, when you act too much, that's where we see the mistakes like going out of bounds and not having those landings.
Power, but in control.
Absolutely. I've really seen Kaya just get better and better at that attention to detail every single week, ends with a double back. She does a 3 tumbling pass routine. Something to call out because we don't see that a lot in college gymnastics. So that takes a lot of endurance. See this first pass, the highlight of the routine. Had even more power on that, and then ends with a double tuck. A little bit of a slide back on the lunge. The judges may take off on that. But a great routine from Kaya.
Minnesota gets Mora with a 9.9, and then Brooklyn Rowe with a 9.925 on their top event in beam. Now Lauren Pearl.
That is why we're ranked 9th in the country on balance beam. That handspring back layout. More times than not, you are usually crooked or off in your skills on beam. You just get better and learn how to save those and control the wobbles, which may sound a little crazy, but it's the truth.
All I think about watching this is just the core strength.
Takes a ton of core strength. And a ton of mental strength more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful front aerial to beat jump. She's had such pretty lines and extensions. Even in her dance, the artistic aspect of beam, she's really shown off. Ends with the gainer full. I don't think her feet actually moved. It looked like she stuck it in place. So Minnesota doing a fantastic job on this event. This is where they're starting to make up the tenths that they were behind on. Ends right there. Yeah, I think her heels lifted off the mat, but her toes stayed put. So another solid routine for them.
Now Sydney Seabrooks on floor. One of her best.
This is definitely a performance here. It's just so much fun to watch every time. It makes me smile. She opens with a huge double pike. That pass is more difficult because you're in the pike shape. So having to rotate around takes more strength. The choreography with this routine is so much fun. Some people forget that they have to learn these routines and this dance in the off season. It takes a lot of practice as well. And it takes a lot more energy to do it like Sydney Seabrooks with the facial expressions. She goes all out every time, ending with that 1.5 front layout. Another great routine. Kaya Forbes with a 9.9. Sydney Seabrooks following up with a routine just as good. We saw huge tumbling throughout. Everyone's chanting 10.
Seabrooks with a great performance there. And like you said, it does take more energy to put that effort into the dance as well, and then you also have such big tumbling.
Something people don't necessarily think about. but it's hard enough endurance-wise to do a routine without tumbling, just the choreography itself.
So now Jordan Lyden anchoring the beam.
She's in a great position here. They're dropping right now a 9.825. So a lot less pressure. But typically those aren't things that the actual athlete up on the event is thinking about. She starts out with a solid back handspring back layout series. Cat leap into a switch side. Dismount, round off 1.5. That was a solid stick. She did a great job absorbing that landing, holding it for a couple seconds, showing the judges, hey, there's nothing to take here. Look at me. What a way to end that beam lineup. We're seeing such great gymnastics all around, going from beam to floor, back and forth. We're seeing these lineups build in 9-9s, left and right.
It's been so impressive what we've seen tonight. And now finishing it up, Cameron Rueda with North Carolina slightly ahead.
It may come down to the last routine. Minnesota inching their way back 10th by 10th. With that beam lineup, which we knew would be close since that was their best event all season so far. Cameron starting with a double back. I'm just so impressed with the pop that they're getting off the floor. But again, being able to control it on the way down as well. Gorgeous extension on the 1.5 front layout. That was a no deduction pass. She has such great form. Her toes perfectly pointed. Even in the tumbling, that's gonna be a big score. They're all going crazy over there as well. We'll take another look at the height right here, drops into it. That might be their biggest score of the night on this event. 1.5. Didn't even need to take that lunge. The highlight for me was not just the big tumbling, but also the extension that she got on the passes and in her leaps and jump combinations.
So all the way through now to these exhibitions, and North Carolina will wait for Cameron Rueda's score. It was still a really good performance on beam from Minnesota, but they were a little over 4/10 behind coming into that final rotation. And as of right now, Seabrooks and Ostrom tied on the all-around. There are stars to watch in this one.
Nice beam routine so far in the exhibition spot. Gorgeous front toss. Ending with a 1.5 dismount. Solid routine.
Megan Steensland finishes that off. As the Tar Heels get the win. See the final score there. Sydney, what did you think of this one?
What a great performance from both teams all around. We saw Carolina come in strong, and they continued with that throughout each event. So I liked how they just got better and better and really found their groove, ending on floor exercise with another huge score. The highlight for me was their beam, but then again, ending with all that energy on floor exercise as well. Minnesota, on the other hand, struggled a bit here and there with a couple of wobbles, but then really came back, ending on beam strong, which is tough to do, but proving why they're ranked in the top 10 on that event. So it still ended up being a really close meet. Both teams should be really happy with themselves.
So North Carolina takes this one over Minnesota. 13th rank goes down. A big one for the Tar Heels, doing a great job on beam to really lock this one up. For Sydney Sneed, I'm Nick Kloss. For our entire crew, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a great night of gymnastics. Appreciate you coming with us. Have a great rest of your night.